All right, guys, on my property, I have various levels of maturity of poison hemlock, yarrow, elderberry, and Queen Anne's lace. So I'm going to do a quick comparison of each one of them so that you can see them all in their various stages as far as I can find them here today, and identify some of the key differences and not kill yourself with poison hemlock, but then also be able to see and value all these other medicinal powerhouses that we overlook every day in society. So check this out. Okay, first off, right where I'm standing, this is poison hemlock. So poison hemlock, when it's first budding up, looks like this. Okay, now when it starts to finally start growing out and get some leaves, you'll start to notice immediately this purple splotches all down the stem. Now these purple splotches all down the stem are unique to poison hemlock. That's the giveaway with poison hemlock. All of the flowers you could interpret at different stages depending on what they are, or I mean what your lookalike is that you're going for, and you can get it mixed up by the flower alone. And I have done that myself when I was first looking at things and wasn't sure which one I was grabbing, so I just didn't grab any. So I totally understand that fear, but just look at the stems. Look at the purple splotches. So this is really young, really tiny, and actually you might be able to see just a tad bit on these younger ones of poison hemlock. Just a little bit of purple. Not a lot, but a little bit. So, all right, let's go look at some more mature ones. Okay, over here by my carport and water tank, I've got this big towering hemlock I gotta kill before it goes to seed. And this is really where it gets a lot more deceiving, because sometimes these flowers will group up like that and it'll look like Queen Anne's lace, like this. And you can get that mixed up. But again, let's just go back to the purple splotches. Okay, this is poisonous. This will kill you if you eat this. If you get it inside your skin, sores in your skin, it can make you sick. You can have seizures. This is very poisonous plant. Now, the purple, I'm just going to keep referring back to, because that really is the giveaway. So let's pause here, and I'll take you over to this Queen Anne's lace, and I'll show you the difference. Actually, this is poison hemlock too. This looks just like Queen Anne's lace. Look at that. Grouped up. Ouch. Oh, it's sitting in this honey locust. Ridiculous thorns on this tree. This is a honey locust, or I mean a honey locust grabbing a poison hemlock. So then underneath it, just a little bit to the side here, I have Queen Anne's lace. So Queen Anne's lace, when it's young and little, you'll notice even in its early stages that Queen Anne has hairy legs. So the stem's furry, no purple splotches at all, and in various stages the plant has groupings of flowers with these little purple, I don't know what they're called, but it's like a little flower right in the center. It looks black from a distance, but if you look up close, it's actually purple. This is Queen Anne's lace. This is the wild carrot. So this right here is a more mature version. And you see how they kind of spread themselves out? They're not as tight groupings of flower clusters. And when they finally bloom, they're beautiful. And the native pollinators love them. They always have that purple flower right in the center. And this is highly medicinal, wonderful for you, good for your kidneys. It'll actually stimulate kidney function. And again, with that hairy legs concept. Okay, so let's take this right here with us so we can look at the flower groupings. I want you to see the similarities and the differences. Okay, right over here by the beehive, we have another poison hemlock. So see the difference? This is poison hemlock. That'll kill you. This is Queen Anne's lace. That'll heal you. So here's the difference in their grouping pattern and the similarities as well. Queen Anne's lace is also a little bit more yellow, I just noticed. Now I do not ID plants by their flowers. You will be mistaken if you try to do that. You always go to the purple splotches, okay? Go to the purple splotches. That's my recommendation. Okay, so again, Queen Anne's lace, poison hemlock. Okay? Different stage, a little bit younger. I'll probably find a cluster and flower of hemlock and we'll take it with us. We're gonna go find yarrow now. Here's some more Queen Anne. Queen Anne has a flower in the center, hairy legs. Okay? So real quick, you can see the difference just standing right here. So this is Queen Anne's lace, right there. That's Queen Anne, that's Queen Anne, that is, and that is. Look, you can see kind of little white blobs of them. But if you look further this way, that's poison hemlock. Right there. And right there. So these aren't in bloom because I tried to tackle them already. I tried to knock those out already, so those ones aren't in bloom. But these little Queen Anne's popping up, pretty easy to ID that at even at a distance once you start to recognize the pattern. So I hope this video is helping with that. Now over here I've got a bunch of yarrow and a little bit of elderberry. So let's go compare Queen Anne's with yarrow, elderberry, and poison hemlock. So while we're walking out here, let's just talk a little bit about some of the medicinal qualities. First off, let me give you a disclaimer. I am not a certified herbalist. I am not this is not medical or professional advice in any way, shape, or form. This is just my personal experience, my personal understanding and knowledge, and I'm sharing with you. Take it as a grain of salt, however you want to however you please, and know that you must do the research and the understandings yourself. You cannot just do what I said and have success. You might hurt yourself. Everybody's different. For example, I can touch poison hemlock and weed whack it, and I don't have any kind of problems. I'm not sensitive in that way. Whereas somebody else might just rub up against some of the sap and get a rash, like a poison ivy rash. So know yourself and know what you're doing. Don't get deceived by the do and duplicate mentality of just hearing whatever you see on the internet and then doing it and then hoping it works. Like, do your own research, okay? Be independent in that way. Gotta stop on the trail for some black raspberries. Nice. Nom, nom, nom. We got some fleabane, some muscadine. Well, it probably isn't muscadine, but a wild grape. I always just default to muscadine. Bunch of black raspberries, wild mint. I don't actually remember what these ones are called, but beautiful. Okay, so here's where I've got the elderberry. This is elderberry. So elderberry is amazing. I love elderberry. So look at this. So when it's first budding, okay, see the similarities there? They're all grouped in round clusters, all the flowers on elderberry. When they finally open, they'll sit like this for just a little while, and then they actually fall off, and all that's left is the bulb, or the little, whatever it's called, underneath the flower, and that cluster eventually materializes into the berry. So what I want you to see is the difference of the flowers. This is edible. This is Queen Anne's lace. This is elderberry. And I'm surrounded by blackberries and grapes right now. So I don't actually see any poison ivy on this side of my property. I mean poison hemlock. So I should have grabbed one from over there in the field. They are definitely more prevalent in the prairie than they are in the bush, but side note, look at that. God is good. God is good. All right, so real fast, look at the stem. This is grape. Let's get that out of our way so we don't get deceived and confused here. This is elderberry leaf pattern. Here's the stem. You'll notice no purple splotches on elderberry. There's some red splotches, but that's not the true purple of what you see with poison hemlock. Now, another really clear indicator it's elderberry is the smell. I'm not going to harvest it because I only have one bush here, so I'm trying to reach over all of these thorny bushes. But it smells amazing. Elderberry is like one of those magic plants. As far as I understand it, it will harden the cell walls of your body, of the cells in your body, when you eat it or drink it as a tea, or you make a jam out of the berries themselves. Any kind of synthesis of the berries will give you that medicinal effect. It'll harden the cell walls. It's a preventative that blocks and prevents the bacteria or viruses from getting inside the cell, which is phenomenal, just that alone. Not to mention it tastes amazing, it smells amazing, and it's all around just a great plant. Now this right here, and there are more benefits to it, but great antioxidant, things like that. This right here is yarrow. I'm just around the corner. That's the elderberry. This is Queen Anne's lace, okay? This is yarrow. See the difference? Queen Anne's lace, yarrow. All right, now yarrow has these telltale feathers right here. Yarrow is the only plant I'm aware of that has this perfect feather pattern to all of its leaves. There are some lookalikes that are similar in feather pattern, but this is a feather. These are really the feather pattern of the plants that I'm aware of. I don't know of any alternative that comes close. And you'll know what I mean when you start playing with yarrow, and then you find lookalikes, and you're like, oh yeah, that's not that. It's not the same. Doesn't feel the same. Doesn't flow the same. But both of these are highly medicinal and edible. These are great plants, and yarrow will clot your blood if you're bleeding out, and it's great in a tea, and it has a lot of digestive support impacts. And then its ability to grow in poor soils makes it a great addition to your garden, because it's also a nitrogen fixer, and those medicinal qualities will carry over to your honey. So it's great for the bees. And there's some more. Sorry, sidetracked. Look at all this. Oh man. God is just abundant. He just has all this food out in the middle of nowhere, and people just look all over, do whatever they want. They ignore all this abundance. Look at this right here. This is more yarrow. So I've got yarrow, elderberry over there, Queen Anne's lace all over her. And let's get some of these three groupings, and then we'll take them back over to the poison hemlock, and I'll show you the difference on a table. We're just gonna harvest one of these because I want them to go to seed. So there's our yarrow example, and there's some more. There's some more. It's like a perfect, beautiful little garden back here. I just love it. Lots of ticks, though. I could do without those. All right, we will take a little bit of flower. I'll just harvest the flower because I do like to infuse it in my honey. There we go. Okay, this is elderberry. Now, the reason I'm taking the flowers, even though I said I don't ID by flowers, is because there are some distinct differences. And I don't know what their technical terms are, but once you see them side by side, you'll get it. So I just want you to see that. Let's go get some poison hemlock now. All right, we'll grab one more Queen Anne's lace to add to the batch. Give some variety of our observations here. Whew, it's a little bit of a hike. Okay, now let's get it more mature. This is all poison hemlock right here. Got some mowing to do here. All right, so we'll take one poison hemlock there, and then we'll come get one of the more mature groupings we saw on the other side here. Okay, so right here we've got yarrow and elderberry, okay, Queen Anne's lace, and poison hemlock. All right, now let's ID some key differences here. This is what helps me out when I'm IDing. I now know these really well, but when I first started kind of picking them out from the bunch, the few things that stood out to me right off the bat were the characteristics of the way that the flowers group. For example, let's start with Queen Anne. You'll notice that even though they are in these distributed clumpings, they are tightly grouped. And whereas with poison hemlock, they're in their own groupings, but they're farther spread out. Now you'll also notice that with Queen Anne's lace, it comes kind of like a fractal spider pattern from the center, whereas with Queen Anne or with poison hemlock, it's branched way out with no central follower. And there's a central clump right on the back of Queen Anne. So now that's not an ID. Just to clarify that again, you're looking for purple splotches on poison hemlock. That's how you ID poison hemlock. For Queen Anne, one of the dead giveaways is the purple flower right in the center and the hairy legs, okay? For elderberry, you're just gonna have to get to know elderberry. It does group like poison hemlock in the fact that it's not clumped at the base, but they actually fractal out again and again and again when it's on poison, or when it's on elderberry, and they smell amazing. So you can see the differences pretty easily. Most people just don't get to see the contrast like this. So I hope this helps the difference and helps you understand the differences. Now here with yarrow is great because it's plentiful and it grows in really poor soils where maybe a lot of other things don't grow. And so it's really nice when you're walking down the sidewalk and you can see yarrow. When I'm harvesting, most of the time I will not pull the root out. You'll notice that I did on this one. I pulled the whole root and everything. Some of these, like Queen Anne's lace, you'll want to harvest the roots for different purposes depending on what you're trying to do. But for the most part, I leave the roots intact on elderberry, because elderberry is a perennial. It'll come back year after year after year, and there's really no medicinal reason to harvest the roots as far as I'm aware. Yarrow is an annual, and it will seed. It'll go to seed and it'll drop and you'll get some more. And so you can harvest the whole thing if you ever find a reason to harvest the roots. I don't, but there is reason to harvest the leaves and the flowers and make teas with them. And then with poison hemlock, I harvest it by killing the crap out of it. It does not have any edible purpose. It is completely poisonous. It is 100% toxic. Every single part of this plant has the ability to kill you, from the stems to the saps to the leaves to the flowers. So do not harvest this plant. This is the one that I chopped it off of here, growing in this tall stalk. This is a very deadly, very poisonous plant. Now, we want to dispel one of the myths that I hear all the time when it comes to poison hemlock. I get told, or I see online all the time, people saying that even brushing up against poison hemlock, you'll break out in rash, and it's so deadly that it can absolutely destroy you. Well, yeah, it is 100% deadly if you eat it, or if you have a cut or an open wound and you get the sap inside that wound, and it'll then get into your bloodstream and kill you, because anything internal with poison hemlock will kill you. Now, some people have really sensitive skin, and even a little bit of contact with something like poison ivy will cause them to massively break out. And that is true, and that will happen if you're one of those individuals. Most people are not. As you can see, I've been touching it and harvesting it, or not harvesting it, but just breaking it off of the stems that we've been seeing so that I could show you all of this. My boys, when we first moved here, they didn't know yet what it was, and so I actually took them out into the field to show them, and they said, oh yeah, that's what we've been playing in. So they know not to eat things without permission from me and their mom. The babies don't. The babies are still learning, and so that's why you need to know these things. You need to remove it from your property. But it's pretty easy once you understand the difference. This one will kill you. These ones will heal you. And you cannot mix them up once you get to the point of actually playing with them. Oh, we got a deer over there. I moved too fast. That would have been cool to catch on camera. But anyway, this is all edible and medicinal and beautiful. And this one is absolutely toxic and poisonous. So now you know what you're looking for. ID number 1, purple splotches. Okay. ID number 2 is the way the flowers group, in contrast to the ones you're looking for. Okay, that's all I got for you. I really hope this helped. I'll put some photos in a Google Drive and I'll drop it down below so you guys can see the differences of them all compared. If you jump into the TIAG community, the independentamericangardner.org, or I'm sorry, TIAG communities, TIAGcommunities.org, you'll see us talking about it in there too. And you can always ask questions, share photos of your own if you're confused, whatever. There's Facebook groups. We have a free Facebook group. The Independent American Gardener Official is our Facebook group. Yeah, you just jump in there, chat with us, and we'll help you out. There's plenty of beautiful things to get and to experience in nature, but I totally get the overwhelm that I see online all the time. So I'm trying to be gentle to that, but then also help you understand that you're missing out if it's keeping you from harvesting these other 3. So, so get over there. Enjoy. Okay, I couldn't possibly harvest all of that without actually eating it. So I'm making some tea. I've already got some yerba mate in here, so we're just gonna go ahead and throw in the fresh herb and have some fun here for just a second. So I'll probably leave that over there. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take, oops, get that off the heat. I'm just gonna take these leaves, and I'm sure other people have all kinds of cool things that I could do with the rest of this. For me, I do not, right off the top of my head, have a use outside of a salve or something else, and for this small quantity, so I'm just gonna make myself a quick little tea with it. And I just use Bombilla straws, that way I don't have to have any kind of crazy homemade tea bags or anything like that. And for the Queen Anne's, I'm just actually gonna shred up this whole thing and just put the whole clump in there. Queen Anne is a food. And I've got 2 of them. This is a yarrow flower or yarrow leaf. Just put that in there as well. And this is my favorite one. This is the elderberry. Elderberry actually does have some toxicity to it in the stem. I've been eating elderberry for years and years, and I've never had any kind of issue arise. So I'm not as particularly worried about it as some people may be. I've eaten, they say that if you eat the berry, it produces niacin in the stomach. But they also say that about apple seeds, and I eat apple seeds, so I'm not worried about it. Do your own research, decide for yourself what you want to do with that. But you can see that I'm not adding the stems. I am getting some little ones in there, but the idea is to get the flowers. And it's much easier to just not worry about those little ones than it is to try to avoid it completely. For me anyway. And there's some cool ways to harvest the flower that just you can roll it off essentially. A lot easier than if you were trying to get them in bits and pieces like I am right now. But that is what it is. Alright, so now we have our leftovers. This is just going to become garden compost. And we've got a tick. That's not going to go in my tea. Alright, I got the Bombilla. I get some hot water in there.
Time to go.
Time to go, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay.
A timer is done doing.
Alright, big guy, I'm coming.
It's beeping.
Okay. Alright, now I got some honey from my hives. And this is mostly comb stored up in my herbal cabinet. So I'm just going to try to get some of the honey out. Usually I wait till it cools, but as you can tell, the family's waiting for me. So I usually wait till it cools to add the honey so that it doesn't compromise any of the medicinal qualities of the honey. Some people have theories about what metal does to honey as well. I haven't ever seen any scientific proof of that, but that's something to consider. And actually, you know what? I'm just gonna take a big chunk of my comb in there just to get some good honey. And for those of you that don't know, this is the Bombilla straw. Has a strainer at the end of the straw, which allows me to just put fresher bread into my gourd, my cup, and voila. Okay, that's pretty much all there is to it. For a quick little tea recipe, you'll want to let it sit for a few minutes and maybe add some cold water to it before you add any honey to it. That's really the only thing I think I did wrong there that I prefer not to do otherwise than drink it when it's nice and cold. But, oh my gosh, that's bomb. Nice. So, it's easier to take care of these things than people give them credit for. And I can eliminate almost every excuse that I've heard. So go outside, grab yourself some flowers, put them in a cup, and drink it. It's good for you.